Don't acknowledge your name. I used to think the forest only told the truth. Pine that smells like it does. Creeks that say exactly where they've been. Wind that admits its hands are everywhere. I'm 25, seasonal night ranger at an off-season trailhead. One-room cabin, fee kiosk with a thermal printer, radio that mostly practices being lonely. My job is simple. Lock the gate at dusk, log trail cameras, check weather, and never open the trail after dark. Extra rules from my supervisor, Cole. Don't follow whistles, don't engage with voices that use your name. And if the gate app offers a shortcut after midnight, tell it no. He laughed when he said it. The laugh didn't stick. By 10:56 p.m., the cabin had found its one breath, mini fridge hum, inverter tick, trees rubbing their shoulders on each other. The kiosk coughed a receipt with no fee, no tag number, just, "Do not acknowledge your name." Along the edge, ghost gray digits that weren't our hour, 3:13 a.m. The wall clock insisted on 10:57. I stuck the strip to the radio because paper makes rules heavy. The first odd thing was polite. 2 knuckles tapped the cabin door, measured, not wind. The window, my reflection lagged a half-beat. Behind my shoulder, a second head leaned toward my ear. Mouth parted like it had reached the first half of don't. I blinked at glass until it remembered how to lie for me. The trailgate tablet woke and slid a card I didn't T-call. Night access, 313 clearance. Under it, double tap to confirm with 2 tiny hearts pulsing like a dare in bedtime colors. I hit cancel. The card minimized and pretended it had always lived there. The base radio clicked. A voice came through slow and careful, like each word had to be lowered into place with 2 fingers. Don't answer. Not Cole. Not the fire crew up on the ridge. The museum voice cities keep to label bones. I work because hands keep thoughts where they belong. Pulled SD cards from a bucket of trail cams and copied deer, wind, a fox that didn't believe in cameras. The fridge, the inverter, and the old fluorescent aligned into one held note that set my teeth to counting. In that chord, the door latch shivered a millimeter like a sleeper scratching and remembered shut. Outside, something whistled 2 clean notes. The exact pitch we used to get attention across switchbacks. A beat late, like practice. I didn't answer. The trees leaned close to hear me not answer. At 11:13, the glass of the side window fogged a perfect palm from the outside. 5 long ovals and a heel, and slid a patient inch before thinning. Condensation, I told the door, like grammar could keep the forest on its side of the story. My phone buzzed in the drawer it isn't supposed to live in. Unknown. Confirmed trail open at 3:13. The tiny map dot sat inside the cabin, then behind my chair. Then, under it, double tap to confirm with heart small and patient. I turned the phone off. It stayed lit long enough to flip to 3:13 and back, like a muscle twitch in glass. From the porch came tap-tap, measured, moving along the railing toward the trail like a knuckle learning punctuation. In the cabin, the radio breathed a mercy. Leave. It closed. I stepped out with the headlamp off because dark is honest if you let it be. The gate chain wore cold like jewelry. Beyond it, the trail was just darker dark, the kind the brain fills with shapes it owes itself. In the beam of my lamp, something like breath moved across the dust. No footfalls, just pressure remembering how to be animal. From the trees to my left, a voice said my name the way my mother used to when I'd done something clever and small. Then added, friendly as a neighbor, "Come here." I put my hand on the gatepost. Wood cooled under my palm as if another hand had matched mine on the other side. Pressure for pressure. Polite. Present. Back in the cabin, I wrote quiet night because forms like that lie. The letters looked wet longer than ink deserves. The gate tablet slid a new card onto the corner of the screen. Open for night runner. Double tap to confirm. The hearts pulsed. The photo that bloomed under it showed the trailhead sign and, standing in front of it, a person shaped like me, headlamp band across a familiar forehead. Caption: I'm here. At 11:31, the whole forest decided to be one thing for 4 breaths. Wind, inverter, fridge, The wire in the wall, even the creak a quarter mile down, aligned into a note that pressed my ears flat from inside. In that held chord, the door nudged against its frame without opening and behaved when I said no, as if the dark respected opinions. Something tapped twice on the trail camera case at my feet. When I looked up, the side window fogged a palm a thumb width higher than my mouth can breathe and slid down until it met the sash. The radio tried a voice that wasn't its own. My cadence half a beat off. "Open the gate." Then over it, the careful one, the one that puts words down like fragile things. "Don't. Acknowledge." I walked the porch with the lamp off. The forest rearranged. A branch that had been a branch became a person who had learned to be a branch. In the dust by the steps, my boot prints from earlier walked forward, then cross-stepped, then turned inward as if the path to the cabin was a circle that liked itself too much. Between my prints, a second set appeared, smaller, too long in the toes, and ended at the gate like a body that had chosen to exist for exactly that. A whistle from up the hill, 2 notes, right pitch, was followed by my sister's voice asking if I needed anything from the store. She's 3 states away and doesn't camp. The voice tried again, closer. My name. Careful, then, "Come here." The forest turned its head to watch what I'd do with that sentence. At 11:49, the kiosk coughed another strip. Edges damp like letters had learned to sweat. "Keep the gate closed." I slid it under the tablet like paper could weigh down plastic. Inside the cabin, I set my palm on the glass. From the dark, pressure matched my hand again, polite, familiar, a childhood memory pressed into cold. In the reflection, my face arrived a half-beat late and a second head leaned near. Mouth parted on "don't." Then the glass remembered me. The tablet tried charm. "Open for 3 minutes. 3:13 safe pass." The button wore 2 small hearts that waited to be fed. The radio offered a bedtime rule in a voice that had learned patience. "Don't use your name." At 12:06, the insects that had insisted on winter anyway aligned their tiny engines with the inverter. The fridge, the bit of power line we pretend doesn't reach this far. In that note, the gate chain kissed its post without moving. The creak paused and started over like a paragraph that had misplaced its verb. I made tea because heat in a cup turns fear into work. The kettle window showed my reflection lag, and for a frame, a head leaned over my left shoulder, mouth parted on the first half of "don't." Steam wrote an alphabet my tongue doesn't own and then forgot itself. On the porch, tap-tap traveled from plank to plank toward the trail, measured, patient. The voice in the trees tried my high school coach, my first landlord, a stranger calling a dog, my mother again, my own voice saying my name just the way I do when I need me to pay attention. I put both hands on the gatepost. From the other side, both hands returned, pressure for pressure, and let go like they had practiced obedience. At 12:23, the headlamp I hadn't worn in years blinked 3:13 on the charger and sobered. My phone lit with a photo from unknown. The trailhead from above my head. My shoulders small, my figure standing on the wrong side of the chain. Caption: double tap to confirm. I pressed the power button until mercy happened. The cabin clock missed a minute and apologized to itself. The tablet offered one more card. Unlock for emergency, voice requesting. The hearts pulsed. The radio returned to the careful wait that has kept more hands honest than any fence. Leave. It closed. At 12:41, the forest and the cabin practiced choir again, aligned and let go. A pine cone landed out there like a punctuation mark someone had rehearsed. My name bled out of the dark once more, said right this time. The vowels tuned exactly to how I hear me. The trees waited. I printed a sign because signs are spells. After dark. No gate access. Do not respond to whistles or voices. I zip-tied it to the chain. The tie breathed like a small lung and held. The last hour learned how to be many. The voice became sobbing, then laughter. Then a ranger I'd never met cursing out loud. Then silence, which carried my name inside it like a seed. The window fogged a final palm and slid an inch, as if the night had a last word and used it on manners. At 3:13, because some hours apply for hard jobs, Every little light blinked once and held. The inverter, the radio LED, the headlamp dot, the cabin, the creak, the line in the wall, my ribs, one note and release. The tablet forgot its hearts and remembered to be dull. The radio gave me its last kindness in the careful weight it had borrowed. Don't acknowledge your name. Dawn didn't arrive so much as the trees chose to let a color happen. Cole rolled up at 6 with coffee and the shoulders of a man who has argued with weather. "Quiet?" he asked. "Mostly," I said and slid him the damp strips. He frowned at "do not acknowledge your name" like it was a policy he'd forgotten to write. Printer's old, he decided. The supervisor's spell for mercy. He rapped the gate post with 2 knuckles like a doctor listening to a sternum. The chain answered with nothing you could invoice. We opened on hikers who believed the morning was theirs. At noon, with the sign still zip-tied and the tablet resigned to checklists, I walked the first switchback. The dust kept our story. My prints made sense again. At the second turn, someone had written in the powder with a finger too long in the knuckle, "Leave your name unanswered." The letters looked pressed up from underneath as if the trail had written back. I took more day shifts and tell people it's for the view. Some weeks around 3:13, my apartment radiator knocks twice like a gatepost remembering manners, and the bathroom mirror fogs a thumb width higher than I can reach while a palm clears a coin and slides a patient inch. My phone lights with unknown, "Confirm access?" and 2 tiny hearts that wait nicely. When it does, I keep my hands off buttons that pretend to be romance. I don't follow whistles that get the pitch right a beat late. I don't answer voices that borrow my mother's patience or my own. In the steady voice the forest taught me, I say, "Don't acknowledge your name." For a long, thin moment, the room hums one note like trees pretending to be a choir. A head leans near my left ear and practices the first half of "Don't." And then the pipes remember water. The hour lets go of its borrowed number. And whatever was learning my attention a half beat behind me chooses someone else, trail and leaves mine to daylight, and signs that mean it.